Look, for us in the West, it's very hard to look at this and not feel deeply conflicted, because on the one hand, people don't like any intervention by the military. On the other hand, you know, when you've got 17 million people out on the street and a situation where the economy is going rapidly downhill, basic services aren't being delivered, law and order had effectively broken down, there was going to come a point, frankly, when the army were not going to stand by and let this happen. What we've got to do, I think, is to help the new government that emerges now and help get back to a situation where you can hold democratic elections with some semblance that government is functioning again.
But 2 million people were out on the streets in Britain before the Iraq War when you were Prime Minister. If it had been 4 million, are you saying, well, that would have justified a military coup against your government?
By the way, but no, I think this is a different... The equivalent in Britain would be 13 million people out on the street. I seriously can't contemplate a situation in which things were so serious that that was happening and the government didn't change. So, look, this is a situation in which there isn't a lot of history or examples to go by. The fact is, we've got to work our way through what is an immensely difficult situation. But the thing we should keep in our minds very clear in the West is, if Egypt were to collapse, and they've got reserves, financial reserves lasting only about 3 months now, if Egypt were to collapse, it would be devastating for the region, not just for the people of Egypt, but for our own interests too. So I think the sensible thing right at the moment is, despite all our hesitations and perfectly natural qualms about a situation in which the army intervene, I think you've inevitably got to have a situation in which the army puts in place a new government for a temporary period to get the country back on its feet and get back to democratic elections.